the Iowa State Legislature, which passed SF 2435, banning diversity, equity, and inclusion offices for public universities. In response to that law, the Iowa State University administration has come out with their plan, how they want to restructure their programs in order to be compliant with this bad law, watering down everything it stands for. Futures of these programs in future years are looking uncertain, so we need people to stand up now.
Our lawmakers need to know that we will not be legislated out of existence, and that passing laws prohibiting the acknowledgement of minority groups will only cause harm. Furthermore, if you think that you are safe from this kind of legislation, if you think that just because you are not queer, if you think that just because you are not a person of color, that it means that this will not affect you, you are wrong. It will always go further. This is the beginning of a very long fight.
This is about building community. This is about letting people find who they are. My students need that community. And I'm so glad that we will still have that community despite what the legislator is doing to us. We will still make sure to band together in opposition of anything that tries to erase us.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about another DEI crackdown, because it's not just corporations that are deciding to roll back their DEI initiatives, but you have some universities across the country in Republican conservative states deciding that, you know what, we're done with DEI as well, too. Okay, and today we got to talk about the state of Iowa, in which the GOP, the Republicans that control that state, decided to force these universities to basically get rid of their DEI offices, okay, to shut down their DEI offices, to stop doing hirings for DEI. And that applies to the major universities of Iowa, like, for example, the University of Iowa, Iowa State University. And let's just say that the woke revolutionaries are not too happy with the changes that these universities are making. Like, for example, Iowa State, they're closing down their LGBTQ center, right? So their center for LGBTQ people only. They're shutting that down in order to comply with the new laws that have been passed in the state.
It's extremely unfortunate to see what the Iowa State Legislature, the Iowa Board of Regents, and the Iowa State administration are doing. It feels like from the Iowa State administration, they're throwing queer communities and POC communities under the bus. Unless you stand up for these communities at the very start and you don't give an inch, if you don't do that, then the board and the legislation and even the administration will continue to roll back a lot of these programs. So it really is a matter of standing firm where we are. When I saw the center, when I saw just how welcoming and inviting it was, that really solidified that this isn't just like a normal university that I'm going to. This is something very special. This is something very unique with 3 decades of history behind it. And it's being taken away so it can be just a generic study lab. There's not going to be a whole lot of reason or events going on for these communities to really flourish and thrive there.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. The woke revolutionaries are upset because the woke programs are going away, right? The Republicans have said, no more of this nonsense, okay? You are supposed to go to school to learn, okay? Not to be indoctrinated with things that really do not help you get a job, right? Doesn't help you make money. You don't gain any real skills. In my opinion, I think that these programs are programs of chaos. And you have the University of Iowa, who is deciding to go a little bit further. They are actually pushing to close down the departments of American Studies, Gender and Women's Studies, and Sexuality. So they're getting rid of some of their woke degrees, like the underwater basket weaving degrees. They're getting rid of that. They're saying, we are going to consolidate a lot of these degrees into kind of like one program, and we're not going to have these individual departments pushing these useless studies that nobody really benefits from. Again, these are majors of chaos, in my opinion. So I want to react to this because I want to see a lot more of this, right? I love to see the trend of universities shutting down these majors that do not have a positive return on investment, where the students aren't learning real skills, especially in light of this national conversation that we're having right now about the American people and the skill set that kids are gaining out of college. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
The University of Iowa wants to open a new school of social and cultural analysis. It would replace the Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies department and would also get rid of majors in social justice and American studies. Our chief political reporter, Amanda Rooker, joins us now in the studio. Amanda, this proposed plan comes as Republican state lawmakers have ramped up criticism of these types of courses.
They have been, and last spring, state lawmakers passed a law restricting diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at Iowa's public universities, although that law does have exemptions for academic departments. Now, the University of Iowa says this restructuring would combine programs including African American studies, gender, women's, and sexuality studies, Jewish studies, indigenous studies, and several others into one school to better serve students and faculty. The University of Iowa wants to close its departments of American Studies and Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies. Instead, it would combine those departments into a new school, along with other programs like African American, Jewish, Latinx, Native American, and Indigenous Studies. It would also eliminate current majors in American Studies and Social Justice, changes Republican state lawmaker Taylor Collins is celebrating.
This is the perfect example of the kind of wasteful spending that the legislature is talking about.
Collins is the chair of the new Iowa House Committee on Higher Education.
Our Board of Regents and the University of Iowa know that the Higher Education Committee was going to be looking at this issue. And so this is them trying to put out that fire before it was really started in Des Moines.
In a statement, the University of Iowa said the plan is, quote, part of a multi-year administrative restructure of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. According to the college, its American Studies and Social Justice programs have fewer than 60 students combined and, quote, have limited faculty and overlapping curricula.
This academic program not only was not focused on providing for the workforce needs of the state, but it also had less than 60 students. We have an entire department who is focused on peddling an ideological agenda with no benefit to the constituents and taxpayers of the state.
But University of Iowa professor Lena Maria Murillo feels differently.
It's disappointing. It's sad.
She teaches gender studies and social justice courses and says she's seen a spike in student interest.
We've seen our majors grow, and in fact, social justice was one of the fastest growing majors of the units that are being sort of restructured in the new School of Social and Cultural Analysis. So it is, again, disappointing because it's clear that the students want these courses.
Murillo also says students who've gone through the programs are contributing to Iowa's workforce and pushes back on some of the criticism.
We have students working in public health, we have students working in education, and then we have students here in the state of Iowa who are doing incredible work. Our intention as scholars, as thinkers, is not to indoctrinate people with any sort of ideology, but to offer them a place for free thought.
Right. In my opinion, I personally believe that the University of Iowa should go even further, right? They should just flat out abolish all of this stuff together, right? Get rid of the Jewish studies, the African American studies, just get rid of all the woke studies. Just get rid of all the woke studies, at least at the undergraduate level. Okay, I have no problems with the woke studies being taught at the master's level or, the doctorate level. That's fine, right? But for undergraduate, I think they should just get rid of all of it, right? Again, I appreciate them closing some of the departments, right? I appreciate them no longer offering a degree in social justice. Like, what the hell does that mean? A degree in social justice. I appreciate that, right? But I think they have to go even further. And the reason why I really believe this is because people want to complain about the cost of college in this country, the cost to attend university. Well, one of the reasons why is because these universities are bloated, okay? Especially when you talk about administrative fees and costs. Yeah, it has outpaced inflation. And again, a lot of it is because these colleges are spending a bunch of taxpayer money on things that are wasteful. They do not provide a positive return on investment. I personally believe that, at least at the undergraduate level, the main focus of these universities should be skill acquisition, okay? And allowing these kids to gain the skills that they need in order to produce in the workforce, to go out and to get good paying jobs. That should be the major focus. This is why I like community colleges better, right? This is why I'm actually a big fan of community colleges, because community colleges focus more on the trades. They focus more on the core skills that are needed in the area by local employers. Okay, and I think that that's an amazing thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that the university system is bloated. I think that we need to discourage people from going to university, okay, unless they're going for legitimately very good reasons, okay? Like they're going to major in some hard science, or, you know, they're going to some school that's amazing for engineering or something like that. Fine, okay, go to university. But I think we really should be trying to funnel more children, more kids into community college. We really should. I mean, we should be focusing more on the trades and helping these kids gain skills, okay, rather than having them take these useless courses that really don't provide a positive return on investment, okay? A lot of these academics shouldn't even be employed. If these academics weren't being subsidized by the government, they wouldn't have their jobs. And if they didn't have their jobs, then they would not have as much influence as they have. So again, you know, I personally believe that one of the ways to fight back against the ideological influence of the left is to defund academia, right? Woke academia. I'm so serious. Again, I'm not saying that at the graduate level or the doctorate level that these things shouldn't exist. Okay, if you want to have your African American studies at that level, fine. But we've learned enough. We've learned enough about African American history in high school. Okay, you learn all that stuff in high school. You can learn about all this stuff in high school. And if you want to study it even further, fine. I just don't think it should be subsidized by the government, shouldn't be subsidized by taxpayers, and it should be done at the master's and the graduate level. And the undergraduate level, though, I don't think this is what kids should be wasting their time studying, okay? It doesn't make them better people. That's the argument at the level. It will make them more well-rounded. Nah, I don't believe that, right? I don't believe that. I don't understand how studying queer theory, right, or gender studies, or women and sexuality, how is that going to make me more well-rounded? Okay, I don't want to be more woke. Okay, I want to be less woke. I want to know less about this and more about things that actually help me economically, right? That's what I care about. So, hey, I personally think this is a step in the right direction for the University of Iowa, and I want to see more of this.
Professor Murillo also wanted to make clear she was sharing her own opinion and not speaking on behalf of her colleagues or the college. She also said she is excited about the potential to work with new people and the potential new research opportunities if the proposed plans are approved. The state's Board of Regents will consider the University of Iowa's proposal in February, and if approved, those changes would take effect in July of next year. Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. I don't think they're going far enough, okay? I think they should get rid of all of it, right? To be honest with you. Okay, all these woke studies gotta go. Okay, it's a waste of taxpayer money, resources, and you know, hey, you can't get everything that you want all at one time. But I am glad that we're seeing a broader movement by corporate America and these universities to stop all this diversity nonsense and to focus on the things that actually really matter. And I hope to see more of this. I hope to see more of these news stories come out of these universities moving away from these useless degrees, moving away from wokeness and diversity initiatives, and just focusing on educating the children and helping them attain skills so that they can go out in the world and make some money, right? And not live off the government. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.